All right, so return of the night bite. I'm so jealous I wasn't on this trip.
Yeah, look at this school, just absolutely massive on the meter.
I know you sent me this video and my jaw dropped.
Yeah, when we stopped on this one, I could not believe the size of the school, and it was ready to bite.
So what was the grade like?
It was all nice sized fish. This was all like 80 to 100 pound fish. The small ones were maybe 60.
So was it easy to get a bite? Were people getting bit every cast or what?
Some guys were struggling. We had a less experienced group for sure. There were a lot of first time tuna anglers and a lot of personal best caught. But some of these guys were not getting straight down under the boat, and that was causing them to struggle.
And so how would people get straight up and down, right? I mean, one way to do that is going heavier on whatever sort of jig that they're throwing down there.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of selection. Some of these anglers, if they had had the 500 grams or even a rigged up sinker like a 16 to 20 ounce, they would have had a lot easier time. But I was able to help some of these guys by casting off the corner to the downwind side. So when they were letting that lure sink down, it was more up and down, and they had a chance to get bit.
Yeah, that's something that, a lot of people don't think about is during the night bite, casting out just in the same position or, when to reset and, sort of getting that best chance at a fish.
Yeah, if you're able to cast a lure without backlashing, it's going to give you a huge advantage. It's what I do every time we get stopped. Is I'll take a second, I'll evaluate which side the downwind side is, throw it off the corner so I can still follow it around and have the wind in my face. But as my lure sinks, it's just going to be more under the boat.
I really like the shot of this kid. He's winding and grinding and grinding and grinding. And, we talked about that on a few of our previous videos, right? Is just not stopping, um, you know, and really making sure that you're always winding, even if you're moving, especially if you're moving, actually.
Yeah, Ashton did a great job on this trip. He fished his butt off, and he was just winding and winding and winding at it in low speed and never stopped and never gave that fish a chance to get off the hook.
Right. I feel like we have a few kids here on the boat with you guys.
Yeah, the youngsters were killing it. They fished hard and they had that stamina going. But everybody, I think everybody landed a fish that spent time at the rail. And there were a lot of personal bests, like we said.
Man, this is like a great shot. You can see the gaff going on in the background. You can see, some of the more experienced anglers working. And then, this guy here who I think, is giving some really good tips to him. He's really trying to put his legs into bringing up that fish.
Yeah, and then you can see right here the angler's doing a good job of lifting this fish at the end to present a good gaff shot to the deckhand so that they can put this fish on the boat for him.
And it's super critical too. A lot of people forget about it when their adrenaline is pumping. But once that gaff goes in the fish, put it in free spool. The deckhands will be able to get it on deck pretty easily for you.
Yeah, a lot of times people get tunnel vision and they keep winding or keep lifting after the fish is gaffed, and you can pull the fish off the gaff hook if you keep doing that. So once they get it secured on the gaff, free spool is the way to go.
So look, I see Josh fighting a fish here. Were many of the deckhands necessary for everybody getting pooped out on fighting these fish, or what?
Yeah, I mean these were big, mean fish, and like I said, these guys weren't the most experienced group of bluefin fishermen yet, so they were getting gassed a little bit and needed a little bit of help here and there.
That's pretty exciting, though. I mean, having first timers or newbies, landing fish this size, and also experiencing a bite like this. I mean, look at all the tuna on the ground. It's just that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it might have ruined fishing for them. They might expect that every single time. They got lucky and they were on an amazing trip. And if it was their first time fishing, that shows a lot.
And so this guy right here, he's fighting in the corner, but if you guys noticed, he's really following the fish with his rod. If you're able to be in the corner and there's no one around him right now, stay in that corner, get your rod tip out and keep it there and just keep on winding. The deckhands will work around you. You saw Julio come in on the other side. You got Alex on the other side. They'll make sure to position around you. That's their part of their job.
Yeah, he kind of followed it with his rod tip, which allowed the tuna to get bigger circles. And if we could have tightened those circles up, we could have killed it maybe one or two less spins.
And we see a few other guys here. This guy just got bit, all right, on the red rod, and you can see that it pops off. So if you guys have ever get bit and it pops off immediately, you really need to just drop it right back down. You have a really good chance of getting bit again.
Yeah, you know you're in the zone already because one fish hit it. Just because it spit the hook doesn't mean another fish won't eat it. So if you drop back down, you got a good chance of hooking another fish.
Yep, absolutely. You can see these guys are working really well together. This guy went over, that guy went under, and just really didn't panic and just continued to listen to the deckhands and made a move.
Yeah, they were moving their feet and following their fish and working really well together. You can see this guy right here. He's got a really good setup, a stiff rod that's kicking and a two-speed reel, but he's not winding fast enough to keep tension at times. So that's something really important that you have to keep on winding and keep up with your rod's kick.
Especially when you're in low gear, right? When the fish have moved up and down and you're trying to get a little bit more action against the fish. It's really important to remember when the fish comes to the surface, you got to wind really fast because if you lose tension on it like that, there's a chance you might not land it.
Yeah, and then right here, our piece of advice would be scoot up to the rail, like we told him right there. If you stand too far back from the rail as your fish spins on the corner, you might lose it to the props.
And it was a little tough for that guy because there's fish just everywhere on the deck, right? But you want to do your best just to make sure that you get at least sort of your rod tip where it needs to be.
Yeah, and try to keep that padding of the rod on the rail. That's what it's there for. You can see this guy; he's struggling a little bit. He's trying to do a lot here instead of letting the rod do the work for him.
Right. Yeah. Using the two hands to really pull up. At this point, you're able to see he's in a great position right there. Really should be there and just cranking. And, again, working together, rod tips together, see where it goes, make a good move, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, those two fish wrapped for a second. You can see the braid touched each other, and they were able to figure out the over and under there and not cut each other off.
Again, here, right? The really important tip is tips together, right? You can really tell when it's especially at nighttime, you're not sure you're fishing so far down. Putting those tips together, you'll be able to tell which way you should go.
Yeah, and don't just try to pull your fish one way or another. That's not going to work. You got to move your feet sometimes, guys.